So Colin, we're under renovation here.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the route today. Where are we going?
Yeah, well, we're taking off from the Burlington Airpark down here just south of Britannia Road, heading up over the Education Village just to show what's happening there, and then just going along, basically looking at the Boyne survey along this area here, and flipping up, going along Derry Road, and looking at both sides here along, showing some of the high-rise under construction, some of the changes that are happening in these neighborhoods, going right over to Tremaine Road and coming up on Main Street, showing what's happening in the mobility hub, over to the Derry Green to show what's happening here, and then back along Steeles up to Milton Heights to show the new Tremaine Road bridge construction, and back down to the airports. It should take us about 20 minutes.
Beautiful. All right, Chuck Charlton, Colin Best. This is our second attempt at Flight over Milton 13.
Yes, we trimmed down. We're going to be all set for the flight. We've actually taken the gas out of the plane, so we should be able to make it.
Yeah,
so,
you trimmed down. I didn't.
Yeah, well, we're working on it. Okay.
Right, we're averaging out slightly less than before.
Yeah, that's true.
Less fuel is the key to this one.
Yeah.
We got a beautiful day outside.
Yeah, and it should be nice and smooth, so it'll be not too bumpy. It's early morning, so we're going to have a great look. We got a great sky ahead of us, and we're taking out, looking at some of the new changes that's happening to Milton and letting everybody know what's going on.
Perfect. Now, any reservations about the number 13?
No,
me neither. I think I think it's a lucky number today.
Yeah, this is a lot of Tom Hanks. It's not around. We're okay.
All right, perfect.
Airplane won't either. No. If you have any questions, let me know.
Okay.
Welcome back to Flight over Milton 13. It's Chuck Charlton here.
Colin Best.
And we're excited to be here. Every year there's different changes happening in Milton, and we're here to highlight them, show you what Milton looks like from the sky.
Yeah, we're just taking off here, and please remember that even though it's our 13th flight, nothing happened, so we're quite grateful. We're heading north now over Britannia Road and heading close to the Milton Education Village. It'll be a story in itself. You can see the Velodrome in the distance there, Chuck.
Yeah, we're just about to zoom in on that Velodrome, but can you give us an update, Colin, on the progress of the Education Village? We start to see some buildings coming on.
Yeah, actually we've got the Schlegel Village is now under construction. That's 192 long-term care beds, which they have a affiliation program with Connectt College, which is bringing over 1,000 students at their Park Hill and Steeles Avenue campus, a lot of them health sciences, and also they're getting involved with Laurier University to build the Education Village. They're looking at least 2,000 students to start with, so lots of changes in front of the Velodrome over the next few years.
And so the vision is not just to have strictly university, like you said, long-term care beds. It's going to be a bit of a community focus in that.
Yes. We've got a secondary plan. It's about 400 acres altogether between the Velodrome right down to Britannia Road. So we have a whole community there. We're also looking at schools. You can see in more detail the rural area just south of Milton, and we're coming in over a lot of the there's, you can see the Velodrome in the distance there, and this is a panorama view of Milton, and looking back to the escarpment, Rattlesnake Point and Kelso, and going along the area. We're just going to circle back over to Britannia Road, but you can see the mix of rural and urban areas.
Yeah, we're just about to hit the urban area, but if you ever want to go for a nice hike during the warmer months, then we have tons of great areas. Rattlesnake Point would definitely be one that that I'd put in my top 3.
Yeah, as I mentioned, there's Sligo Village. They should be open later next year, and it's something that's going to be a teaching area as well as the long-term care, which we desperately need. And we've got 2 other ones being constructed on Derry and 25 in the next few years as well. So here we are at Britannia and Tremaine. We're just going over some of the construction areas here. This is what's called the Walker neighborhood. You can see the Madame Soleil and the new streets on Kavachik and even Gord Krantz. We probably have the only community in North America that has a street named after a sitting mayor.
Yeah, most of the time it's people that are retired or no longer with us that end up streets end up being named after.
Recognizing his extensive community work, he's looking at the CN rail line, more on that later, and also heading over along the south side of Britannia. Britannia is being finished off towards the 407, so it'll be 6 lanes all the way from Tremaine to 407 within probably the next year and a half.
Yeah, what's the timeline for building south of Louis St. Laurent?
That's basically right now what we're seeing in what's called the Boyne neighborhood here. This is what's called the Ford neighborhood between Bronte and 25. It's almost 90% complete. We just had a recent application from Madame for 8 buildings right in the middle of the picture right now, for almost 1,500 apartments, or about 3,000 people, as well as we've got some other pockets that are finishing off. This is now getting into the Cobban neighborhood between 25 and Thompson. You can see the pattern there. This is a lot of work by Madame and other builders, and this area should be finished in the next 2 years. And then moving over into what's called the Bowes neighborhood, you can see the new plaza there, as well as the new Catholic high school, and the construction should be open later this year. And this is the Omaha bypass. That's a little hamlet of Omaha. It's a long history of settlers in this area. And then heading up into the new areas, you can see Madame is building a number of these new areas south of Louis St. Laurent, which should be completed in the next 2 years.
Now we've noticed, probably I would say 3 or 4 years ago, the building permits are changing. Right, we're seeing a lot more high-rise, a lot more mid-rise development, not as many single-family homes.
Yeah, it's basically about 5 apartments for every single-family house. So it's changing that, and we've seen that as well, throughout the community. Such things as freehold and stacked townhouses, small apartment buildings. But right now we have over 23 high-rise apartment buildings, anywhere from 6 stories right up to 31 stories, which we'll be seeing. This is the Derry Green employment area. We're having new buildings coming in, so it's between 5th Line and Jamestown Parkway. A lot of this is going to be employment oriented, where you have a lot of places like DSV that employed 900 people, and you can see off to the west there a real mix of employment and residential areas.
I heard on the economic tour that DSV had to put their lunchroom in the middle because they had it on one side, and it took people the entire lunch hour from going from one side to the other. So these are huge buildings. I think that's 1 million+ square feet.
It is, and we're now getting into phase 3 of the area, just between Main Street up to the 401. You can see some of the large areas. We just approved another development on the former Trafalgar Golf Club, which is going to be changing along the 6th line. And this is, you can see that the top end of the Dempsey neighborhood, we're making a turn over here to head down Main Street, and we'll be highlighting some of the areas here.
But you can see the scale of these buildings. I mean, we're starting to see these amalgamated big companies like Amazon and Lowe's, and that's really what's being built in commercial.
Yeah, we've got that. Also, we've got some smaller ones coming on the north side of Derry Road, or the smaller commercial units, anywhere from 5,000 to 10,000 square feet. We're a lot of startup companies who are heading along Derry Road now. You can see there's still some pockets of area in what's called the Bristol Survey. We're just heading past 4th Line, and there's a large parcel there for sale. I expect to see a planning application now, as well as a daycare under construction there at the corner. So we're really trying to fulfill the needs of people of all ages, from daycare right up to long-term care.
So this area we're flying over now, Colin, I've heard you say that you're about 12 homes an acre here, compared to some of the older areas, about 7 homes an acre. Yeah. And now we're building, what, 20, 25 homes an acre? Dwellings?
Yeah, dwellings or people. And the thing is, smaller families are getting smaller, but we're looking now, what's called ARU, is additional residential units. So a lot of these older neighborhoods, such as Timberlake, which we're flying over, will have basement apartments. We're now looking at the Connectt building, which is the 20th story building is finished, but the second one, 25 stories, is going up this corner of Derry in Ontario, and heading over the sports center and towards the hospital.
Yeah, now you've talked to me about the future plans for the hospital. It will not look like it does now.
Now, basically what you see in Mississauga with the development of the Trillium and Credit Valley hospitals, Milton's going to be seeing we have 50 acres there, and the hospital is dire need for expansion because they're almost at capacity right now, only 6 years after being completed.
Yeah, and then we're flying right now the Bronte West building, just in kind of the bottom corner there. It's a great building. I love Dave has built 3 projects under the Green Life name.
Yeah.
And solar panels, geothermal heat. They're great buildings.
Yeah, and you can see off in the distance the Velodrome in the Schlegel Village. This will be completely changed over the next few years, and we hope to keep everyone updated. Heading off around the escarpment, we're turning back to go along Main Street, and Chuck's done a great video here. Our pilot Brian is doing a great turn. We're heading back. This is Tremaine to the left and Main Street West to the right. You can see the Sherwood Community Center right in the middle.
Yeah, we're just turning around here, and then we'll get a good look. The Sherwood Community Center we've talked about in previous flights kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. We've got some great streets there, a lot of changes here, a lot of people upgrading their homes or building new ones. This area to the north of between Scott Boulevard and the railway embankment is the 151-acre Escarpment View Park. Town staff are working on the plans there. We've been delayed a few years due to certain reasons, and now looking over the downtown area, we've got one of the nice things about town. I actually heard some people at the Summerfest that they just love the historic downtown, as well as we've got a mix of old and new throughout the community.
Yeah, we're obviously seeing some older houses torn down, being rebuilt, but we definitely want to keep that character of the downtown.
Yeah.
Just passing over the Milton Mall right now, we're going to see a lot of changes there too, Colin.
Yeah, and you can see the new towers going up on Nipissing Road and on the what's called the Thompson Towers, as well as that green space in the middle. There's an application coming in there for a 23-story building. So a lot of changes around the Go Park. Just to remind everybody, this was taken on Victoria Day, so that's why the parking lot's empty at the Go Station. Heading over the Arts Center and Bishop Redding, you can see the impact of the Milton's growth and the number of portables we have on the schools, and something we're addressing with the province.
Yeah, I have whenever I show homes, I really point out in this area, in the Dempsey area, how convenient everything is to get to. Yeah, I mean, you're close to the 401, you've got lots of shopping nearby, the Arts Center, the Leisure Center, all of that is sometimes within walking distance.
Yeah. And we're just heading over to the top end of the Derry Green. You'll be seeing some applications soon on the north side of Maine. And we're heading back over Steeles Avenue. This is to the top end of the 401 Industrial Park. Looking to the west there, you can see the extent of buildings. Some of this is in Halton Hills, but this is where a lot of the employment growth is going to be for Milton and Halton Hills, where we're basically having it so that you don't have to leave town to work or shop. So stay tuned for more announcements soon. Heading back along Steeles Avenue, and you'll be looking at various angles here. This is Jamestown Parkway, which is the major artery. If anyone's from Mississauga, this is our equivalent of Mavis Road, connecting the 401 to eventually down to the 407 at Neagawa. And we're heading over the 401, and Chuck, you want to highlight, we've got Dorset Park in the old part of town coming up.
Yeah, Dorset Park, predominantly built in the 1970s. Besides the older core, the downtown Milton, you'll find some of the biggest lots in all of Milton here. So what we're starting to see is some people tearing down those homes and starting to rebuild on those bigger lots.
Yeah.
Also some good opportunities for those additional dwelling units to have detached garages in the back, suites even above the garage.
Yeah, I've talked to some families where basically their adult children and grandchildren can't find their own place, so they're converting homes over. We're going along the north side of Steeles Avenue, looking across at the 401. You also have the Orlando Corporation plans on the north side of Jamestown Parkway. Those should be under construction very soon. Also the Meritor property, which is cleared off their land, and applications coming soon. And our famous jail, Maplehurst, is right in the center there. Again, you're seeing a lot more industrial buildings being built here, as well as coming up the Tremaine Road interchange, which I wanted to really take a picture of. They should be under construction and completed by 2026. They're just putting the bridge in now and doing the embankments, and unfortunately they have to demolish the existing Tremaine after the new Tremaine is open. So there'll be a lot of changes in the Milton Heights area. You can see the land cleared for new panorama homes, which should be under construction next year.
How do we think this is going to impact traffic patterns in Milton?
Well, actually, it's going to improve. It's going to take a lot of traffic off of Brawny Street and Martin Street, so people can get straight down Tremaine Road, and also take some of the truck traffic off the Ontario Street, because it'd be a lot easier for truck traffic. We're now circling around the Country Heritage Park, which is a great place for a family day out, as well as Kelso, and go back up to the escarpment.
You know, there's a campground just north of here, just behind the airplane, and so I find sometimes clients that maybe don't have the right closing on one house, and they sometimes end up there for a month while they try and figure out where they're going to be.
We're heading back down Tremaine Road over the Scott neighborhood, and you can see this is, even though it's only 15 years old, it now looks very mature compared to the other neighborhoods further south.
Yeah, I love this area because you get some of the best views of the escarpment. This is the closest neighborhood to the escarpment. And in fact, the public school is called Escarpment View, and that's the reason why, is because this neighborhood has some of Milton's best homes and some of the best views.
Yeah, you also have the Union Gas Trail, so you can walk from one end of the town to the other, as well. A lot of the schools right in the center of the neighborhood, so children can walk to school. And then we're just finishing off the Harrison neighborhood. This is Louis Sablot off to the left there. You can see the new neighborhood called Walker. You've got about 3 builders in this area between Great Gulf, Conservatory Group, and Mattamy. They should be finished in the next 2 years, and another few thousand people and homes in this area. So a little small commercial area coming in here as well.
Yeah, we're coming full circle. This is the part where we started the video, and we're heading south, basically looking at Tremaine Road. Lots of roundabouts, Colin. Any tips for driving on a roundabout?
Yeah, just make sure you turn right and look left. It's almost like you're in Europe or Asia, where you basically slow down and take it at 20 kilometers an hour, not at 80, because fortunately I hear them all the time. I live near this traffic circle. And here we are coming back in over the rural area of North Burlington back to the airport.
Yeah, this was a really nice flight, very smooth. As a cameraman, I appreciated how smooth it was. We took this flight at 8 a.m. on Victoria Day, basically Monday. And Colin, any final thoughts about our flight over Milton 13?
Yeah, well, it's one of the safest flights. Right, the earlier you take off in the morning, the safer it is. But also, Burlington Airpark is now partnering with Connectt College. They actually have 2 flight simulators in their campus on Park Hill Drive, and they're actually teaching pilots to become commercial aviation pilots, which is a great employment source, because a lot of pilots are retiring. We need a whole new crop, so we're going to see a lot more activity here.
All right, great. Well, hope you enjoyed the flight, and we'll see you back again for Flight Over Milton 14. It's been Colin Best, Chuck Charlton. Thanks for watching.